And, yeah, looks like you might have beaten it by just a bit.
Yep, good call.
By Mike Everett over there, your first base umpire. C.B. Buckner has home plate tonight. There's that great big, ooh, did he really throw that curveball?
I think that's a good pitch to start a hitter out with, because the first time you see it, it's tough to swing at it. And if you can drop it in for a strike, now you're heading to count 0-1, and the hitter hasn't seen your fastball or your slider. So it can be an effective pitch. And you see that slow pitch on the first pitch, and it's a little tougher to pull the trigger on a 90-mile-an-hour pitch on the next pitch.
Markakis is part of this strong start for Baltimore. Again, the Orioles at 4-2. Boy, they're in a tough division, though. Got the Red Sox, got the Yankees, got the Rays. That didn't used to be a big deal, but now it is.
Yeah, and Toronto's not a slouch either. They've got a pretty good ball club. That is a tough division.
Dave Tremblay is the manager. You might remember that the very day that he got given the gig permanently, had the interim taken off his title, and they said, you got the job. That's the day the Rangers beat the Orioles 30-3. In game one of a doubleheader. That ball crunched into left field. That's trouble. Marlon Byrd hunts it down. Adam Jones rockets towards third base, and as it's misplayed out there, here comes Adam Jones. He's going to score. Marlon Byrd just couldn't pick it up cleanly. Baltimore's got a 1-0 lead. That is going to be a double all the way. Well, the Rangers so close to turning a double play. Unable to do that, and Adam Jones flies around and in.
Well, they got some pretty good hitters in their lineup, and Markakis is definitely one of them. He's a solid hitter. Roberts, one of the best leadoff guys in baseball, and Aubrey Huff, best DH in the American League last year.
Well, the two Orioles who have worn out Padilla in the past have opposite field base hits against him already here tonight. And the native of the Metroplex is up now, Aubrey Huff. Born in Mineral Wells. Played his high school ball a little bit closer here to this ballpark, Brewer High School. And very quietly, a huge year for Aubrey Huff a year ago. Big season for a disappointing team. Aubrey Huff led the league in extra base hits last year. If you look at some of what the Orioles stats look like here early in 09. Padilla gets a ground ball, but it's foul. Chris Davis is indeed playing first base tonight. That was not the original plan. Hank Blaylock was supposed to give Chris Davis a night off. But Blaylock, with a stiff neck, was a late scratch from the lineup. So Davis, 0 for his last 17, is in there playing first after all. Aubrey Huff tags it into right center field. Remember, the Rangers didn't trail at all in their 3 games with Cleveland here at home. Tonight they're down 2-0. And I know it's early, but you saw that stat just a moment ago. The Orioles not hitting for all that huge of an average quite yet, but it's when they're getting their hits. They're getting the hits with runners in scoring position.
And that's a stat that they won't maintain for the course of the season, but it's a stat that served them well in a short period of time early in the season. The 6 games that they had at home when they went 4-2, and so far tonight as well.
Ty Wigginton, the hitter. Houston, the Mets, the Pirates, Tampa Bay, they've all given Wigginton a chance to play third base. Now Baltimore has extended that opportunity.
Yeah, Wigginton's a pretty good guy to have. Play a little third, a little first. Moore is going to play third base the most.
And with home games in Baltimore, Wigginton's got a great stroke for that ballpark, right? Pull hitter with power.
Well, he hit 23 home runs last year and hit 285 for the Astros, had 386 at bat. So he's a guy, if they have an injury, you can put him in there every day and be pretty happy with him.
Way out in front right there against Padilla. And that's it for Ty Wigginton.
Good curveball by Vicente. He'll throw the slow curveball. That was the sharp, harder curveball. Great movement to that pitch.
Now Padilla will face a guy who's used to wearing the orange and the black. That's Luke Scott. Played at Oklahoma State for the Cowboys. Inside, drilled him. Right after the strikeout of Ty Wigginton, and that was a quick 3 pitches and done for Wigginton. Now the DH is hit. Padilla usually among the league leaders in opponents hit by a pitch. That one runs right in, got him on the thigh. That'll bring up the former Ranger Greg Zahn, the switch hitting catcher, still getting it done after all this time. He knows he's basically a seat warmer. Matt Wieters is the catcher of the future for Baltimore, and he's at AAA right now. Doesn't figure to be there too long. Zahn's hoping that when Wieters arrives here, he can be a capable caddy, kind of show him the ropes, still have enough to do as a second catcher. Hard to believe that Zahni's turning 38. Where does the time go?
I'm sure his goal is to play as long as his uncle, Rick Dempsey.
And he bears a striking resemblance to Uncle Rick.
Has a lot of his mannerisms behind the plate, too.
The Rangers will be facing the Japanese right-hander tonight, Koji Uehara. He was very good against the Yankees in his first start. 5 hits in 5 innings. Didn't strike anybody out. But he was getting fly ball outs on kind of a cold night. Nice night tonight here in Arlington, 64 degrees. This is the Orioles' only trip into Arlington all year. And I think collectively as an organization they're glad to be here now when it's 64 and not in July or August.
Well, we've really hit the jackpot early April weather. Even in Detroit where it was chilly, still pretty nice days for Detroit.
On the ground, Davis with the backhand. The flip to Padilla. And now the Rangers get a chance to get a couple back. 2-0 to score. Half an inning done.
For Baltimore, the catcher, number 9, Greg Zahn. On the the Orioles, number 19, Koji Uehara.
Rangers back home trying to shake off the effects of a 3-game road trip to Detroit that did not produce a single win. Now tonight they get to test drive Koji Uehara. Only his second big league start. He's been in Japan and pitching pretty well for years. Now the Rangers sample him tonight with his Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Kinsler, Young, and Hamilton. Andrew Jones, Marlon Byrd, and Nelly Cruz. Chris Davis, again, originally not in the lineup tonight, but because Blaylock with a mild injury is out, Davis is in. And Teagarden, then Andrews. And hopefully the Rangers jumping back to above 500 if they can get this done tonight. But first we scout out Uehara.
First game against the Yankees went pretty well. 5 innings, only 1 run. 8-time Japanese All-Star. 9 years with the Yomiuri Giants. The first 7 of those years he was a starting pitcher. Then in his 8th year, 2007, he was their closer. He saved 32 games. And then last year he did both. He relieved 12 times. He started 14 times. So late in his career, he's relieved actually the last 2 years more than he started. Orioles signed him, and they're going to start him.
Kinsler to left field. That ball taking off up near the Southwest Airlines sign. It's extra bases. Ian had only 1 hit on the road. He has already had 8 hits here at home. 8 out of 15 in a ballpark he just loves.
It looked like a slider that just spun. It was only 82 miles an hour right down the middle and belt high. And in this ballpark against this team, that will not be a good pitch for Uehara tonight, the hanging slider.
Michael Young also so comfortable in this ballpark. Heck, he's played 620 games in this ballpark now in the regular season. But of course has yet to play one in the postseason, and that is the ultimate goal for a guy like Michael Young, who's committed himself to be here long term.
A real good defensive outfield for the Orioles. Adam Jones, excellent speed in center field. Markakis, one of the real solid right fielders, especially throwing. And PA has excellent tools playing left field.
Young rolls it to third. And Ty Wigginton takes care of him. Now that outfield defense that you spoke of, Markakis in right, Adam Jones runs it down in center, and that is pronounced PA. That's true. It's a fun last name, but it's not pie, it's PA. Wigginton is Torres, Robertson, Huff around the infield. Uehara works to Greg Zaun. Josh Hamilton has been on base in all 6 Ranger games this year. And he does like swinging at that first pitch.
Well, the pitchers know that, and they're not going to throw him a good fastball to hit generally unless they make a mistake on the first pitch. Uehara threw him a splitter right there. Dropped down, changed speeds. And the 87-mile-an-hour fastball looked a little bit better. If you reverse those pitches and throw that 87-mile-an-hour fastball on the first pitch, chances are he hits it. But because he was fooled by the off-speed pitch, then that fastball looked a little bit better.
Hamilton took one the other way for a 2-run homer in the first inning yesterday. The at-bat he'd really like to have over again, though, is the one he had in the 5th, with runners at second and third and 1 out. He got induced by Edwin Jackson to just kind of roll one to the left side. And when Hank Blaylock hit a fly ball right after that, the Rangers let a great opportunity get away. And obviously, because the Rangers eventually lost 6-4, it's the kind of game where you do go back and say what if in the 4th and 5th innings if you just could have put it away. Ground ball slowly hit. Hamilton burns it down the line. He is out by a step. Nothing but strikes so far from Uehara. 8 for 8.
Uehara in 2007 saved 32 games, had a 16-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, so he can throw some strikes.
Now, the frustration from that game yesterday, the Rangers want to make sure that doesn't spill over. That's the one where you just have to put it behind you as quick as you can. The 6 runs allowed in the 8th inning. And the first time in nearly 3 years the Rangers lost a game when leading by 4 runs after 7. It was a matchup of C.J. Wilson and an Everett in that one. A game in Seattle. Carl Everett, the former Ranger, hit a 3-run home run. Yesterday it was Adam Everett with a broken bat base hit against C.J. that really kicked that snowball down the mountain. And C.J. was very responsible meeting the media after the game. He had a great quote. He said, "Hey, results are judge and jury. I got no excuses." There were a lot of bloops and bleeders and all of that. And that key error is well made behind C.J. But he's right. Bottom line is 6 runs came in.
6 runs came in. 3 of them were unearned runs. And, you know, it's a little bit different if you go out there and you walk 3 guys, throw the ball all over the place, or get bombed. Neither one of those things happened, but he's right. Bottom line is the results weren't there. Thought he threw the ball pretty well, though. He had pretty good stuff. He threw the ball hard, threw strikes. Just didn't get any breaks.
Andrew Jones in a fastball count right there. Got a 78-mile-an-hour pitch from Koji Uehara.
And the best thing you can do with it is take it. Still ahead in the count now.
Jones creams that one to left. He was on that. He is 4 for 6 as a Texas Ranger now as he doubles home Kinsler.
Well, we said about Jones the whole time, if it comes around for him, you don't just have a spare part. You've got a guy who can potentially be an outstanding player. He's always been an all-star player up until the last couple of years. He's still young, and it looks like his swing is coming around nicely. From day 1 to spring training to right now, there hasn't been a more improved Ranger than Andrew Jones. And Uehara hung the slider to Kinsler and then threw that 87-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle to Andrew Jones. And probably not exactly where he wanted to throw it.
Jones, as recently as 06, had a season of 41 homers and close to 130 runs batted in while winning another Gold Glove.
Well, the thing you like about that hit is they start out with a double and nobody on. Can't move them with the first 2 hitters. Then with 2 outs, Jones gets the big 2-out RBI.
All that damage from Marlon Byrd so far in 1 game. The homers and the runs batted in. He and David Murphy splitting time in left. And not a straight-up platoon, obviously. Byrd is right-handed, facing a righty tonight. David Murphy got a couple of chances to play in Detroit, but still hitless for the year. Doesn't mean he won't get in there again. And Marlon Byrd gets an opportunity tonight against Uehara. Boy, he just tattoos it, but foul. We were told about Uehara that he really did not throw his curveball very well or very often in that game against the Yankees. He was having a tough time getting a grip on it, according to Greg Zahn. Fireworks went off for no good reason. Byrd stepped out seeing that. It's an itchy trigger finger and maybe some foreshadowing out there. Fireworks go after a home run. Well, they were incorrect. That is a ground ball to short. Rangers get 1 back, but at the end of 1, trailing 2-1 to Baltimore.
posting the best strikeout rate of any starting pitcher in baseball. San Francisco's Tim Lincecum was close, but Felisa's rate of 10.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. With an effortless delivery and extraordinary arm speed that increases triple-digit radar gun range, Felisa held the Hornets to a 201 batting average and just 3 home runs last year. He'll start 2009 in AAA, but could be on
2-1 Baltimore as we go to the second inning, and we check in with our good friend Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. In Community Corner right here, the place where the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation and Fox Sports Southwest team up to honor those who make a difference in the community. And this is Jesse from Special Olympics Texas, the program director. How many on hand tonight?
About 200 athletes here today.
And Special Olympics right around the corner over at University of Texas at Arlington, right?
Yes, sir. We got our state competition coming up Memorial Day weekend, and just before that, we have a regional competition the last weekend in April.
All right, for volunteers want to get involved, what do they need to do, Jesse?
It's easy. They can go to our website, www.sotx.org, or call our 1-800 number at 800-876-JOIN.
All right, there we go. Special Olympics Texas coming to town May 22nd, correct?
Right.
All right, we'll see you there. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jesse. Josh?
Thank you, Jim. Vicente Padilla dealing to Felix P.A. I'm telling you that, and you know what that makes me? That makes me the PA announcer. Thank you. I get you with that one every year.
When today did you come up with that, or was that an old one?
Oh, it's an oldie but a goodie.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
The one I really wanted to see, though, and it's no longer a possibility, even though it's pronounced PA and, it's spelled pie, P-I-E. They no longer have Capel's Rocky Cherry on this team. I wanted to see those two uniforms lockering next to each other. Although they did just call up Adam Eaton.
Then you could have Eaton next to him, Eaton Cherry Pie.
Eaton Cherry Pie. Thank you and good night. Don't forget to tip your waitstaff.
PA has been a top prospect in the Cubs organization. Andy McPhail, the new baseball guy with the Orioles, was with the Cubs when PA came up, acquired him in a deal. He's got great tools. Just hasn't happened for him yet at the big league level, but
well, there's young talent to young talent right there. PA grounding to Andrews. Yeah, they gave PA a handful of opportunities to really seize a job in Chicago. It didn't quite happen. Milton Bradley, of course, brought in on that huge contract, and he's supposed to be an everyday player, but did you see where he left with a strained groin yesterday?
Well, I wish Milton the best because he was a good guy and he had a great season for the Rangers, but if you're a National League team signing him, you have to be somewhat concerned about the injury history. The reason he got as many at-bats as he did for the Rangers last year was because of the DH. If he had to play right field for the Rangers, you could cut his at-bats in half last year. I hope he stays healthy because he can be a huge player for the Cubs. But history tells you that that's not likely to happen.
On the ground, Andrews tears after. Look how quick and graceful out there. And he got a guy who can make that play himself. Cesar Izturis.
And not only did he make the play, he made it easily. He almost gets in front of that ball. He doesn't have to reach for it, turn all the way around, do a 360 and throw off balance.
He's like a cheetah stalking his prey out there. Here comes the baseball, and he just swiftly and quietly gets there.
He's a fairly big guy. He's got good size, but good quickness too. First step that he took, got there quickly, very smooth. Looks good doing it too, boy.
Top of the order, Brian Roberts. And he slugs it to right field. Boy, Padilla just can't get him out. 9 for 14 lifetime now. Roberts against Padilla. Roberts last year set an American League record for most doubles ever in one season by a switch hitter. That's his third of 2009.
Had 51 doubles last year and 40 stolen bases. Had a nice season too in the World Baseball Classic for the United States team. He's a good player. That's all you can say about him. He's one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball. Gets on base, he can run, solid defensive player, he plays every day, he doesn't get hurt. Not a big guy, but he plays big. Good player, boy. Last season we talked about all the good second basemen in the American League. We've got Roberts, we've got Cano with the Yankees. Ian Kinsler is right in that group of top players. Dustin Pedroia was the MVP last year as a second baseman.
On the National League, there are some real good ones too. Dan Uggla to Chase Utley, just to name a couple guys who start with the letter U over there.
A lot of second basemen. Howie Kendrick, a lot of people think he can win a batting championship. Lopez for Seattle's a terrific young player. I don't know that you've seen a time in the American League where there's been that many quality second basemen.
1-1 is down too low. Tom, I just mentioned Utley of the Philadelphia Phillies, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the passing of one of the great gentlemen in our business today. The voice of the Phillies, Harry Kalas, passed away right before the Phillies and the Nationals played ball today. It was the Washington Nationals home opener. And you talk about a class act and an unbelievable voice. Adam Jones flies to right. Harry Kalas, 73 when he passed, former voice of the Houston Colt 45s as well. He will be very, very sorely missed.
At the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation, we love giving back.
Just a shockingly sad day around baseball today. We mentioned the passing of Harry Kalas, and word comes that Mark Fidrych, one of the more colorful characters that the baseball field has ever known, died in an apparent accident on his farm today at the age of 54 in Worcester, Massachusetts. 19-9 that rookie season back in 1976. He started the All-Star game that year. Well, what just a staggering day around baseball to hear of those two losses simultaneously. One of Mark Fidrich's signature games was against the Texas Rangers that summer.
Yeah, everybody remembers Mark as the guy that talked to the ball and got down on his knees and patted the mound. But the thing that made him interesting weren't his antics, it was the quality of his work. That guy was a terrific pitcher for that 1 year. He had a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, a good hard sinker, and a hard slider. Really good control. was a tremendous competitor for a young pitcher. And it's just a shame that he got hurt. He had 26, 27 complete games that year. If he could have pitched at that level for 10 or 12 years, boy, he would have been one of the most famous players of all time.
Nelson Cruz down on strikes. That is the first major league strikeout for Uehara. He went those 5 innings against the Yankees without one. Speaking of the Yankees, they're the flavor of the day down in Tampa Bay. The opposition for the Tampa Bay Rays home opener. How about Tampa Bay 10 and the Yankees nothing in the 3rd inning? What a home opener that is for Tampa Bay. Jason Bartlett has a home run, his 2nd of the year already. He's not known as a home run guy, but he's got 2.
Wong for the Yankees just doesn't have his sinker early in the season. He got bombed in his first start. Even worse today.
Carlos Pena's got a home run too. He's got 3. Pena, briefly a Ranger first baseman, of course a Rangers draft pick. Now we're looking at Chris Davis as a Ranger first baseman. He's the one guy in the lineup off to a painfully slow start. He had a great close to spring training, but it just hasn't translated into this first week and a half of the actual regular season. And Chris is saying it's nothing fancy that's getting him out. He's just not really having his timing down right now. Some fastballs are getting blown by him. That ball is destroyed to right field. I think Chris Davis got that. Wow! 5 rows up in the upper tank, and the Rangers tie the game.
Pretty good for a guy who wasn't supposed to play tonight. He got a good look at Uehara in that at bat. He took some close pitches. He ran the count to 3-0. He saw a fastball 3-0. He took it. So he'd seen 4 pitches, and then Uehara came in with a 3-1 pitch, 86 miles an hour. The rest is history. And I think that's, if there's been one thing that the Ranger hitters can improve on, it's being a little bit over anxious, giving the pitcher a little too much credit, swinging at some pitches that haven't been strikes. But there's the 3-0 pitch, and after seeing it, no problem with the 3-1 pitch.
Nope. First home run of the year, and for a guy who wasn't even supposed to be playing tonight, that's a heck of a nice swing.
It's just a good example of laying off close pitches, working the count, seeing the pitch, and then taking advantage of a good pitch to hit. There's been several at-bats, and you expect that early in the year. Guys are a little over-anxious. They're trying to get off to a good start, trying to help your team. You expand the strike zone a little bit, swing at some pitches a little bit out of the strike zone, help the pitcher out. And then as you get a little bit more relaxed, more into the season, you tend to do that a little bit less.
Teagarden takes inside. That's got to feel great for Chris Davis. He just felt like he couldn't do anything right in Detroit. Now the first thing he does here back home, so he hits one easily 400 feet out there to right field.
Well, Chris has seen a lot of fastballs, and it really looks like it's just a matter of timing. You know he can hit a fastball. He saw that all season last year for 3 months of the season. That's not a problem. It has been a problem for Chris early in the year, and it is a timing issue. Once you get the timing issue done, you'll be off to the races.
Now Teagarden, a patient at bat too. 2-2 to number 2 in a 2-2 game, an inning at number 2. Another good take right there, and the count full. Got a piece, and we're told that Davis home run went 423 feet to right field. The Rangers, the only American League team to have homered in every game they've played this year. By the way, the Tigers got theirs today at home. The White Sox beat them 10-6. Ball 4. And again, some pitches that were close, but the Rangers had a disciplined at bat. Elvis Andrus comes up next. Tag, they're opening up Citi Field tonight, the Mets' new home. Very first batter, Jody Garrett. And he hit a home run.
Did he really?
Yeah. Very first at bat in that new yard.
Well, San Diego's been a surprise the first week of the season. Didn't look like they'd have much of a team, and maybe they won't. But right now they're playing pretty well.
They've got a chance to be 6-2. They're leading the Mets 5-1 tonight. Runner goes. Ball skips to second base. First be tossed for one out. Andrus hits into his first double play as a big leaguer.
Well, they had the shortstop covering. Otherwise, he's got a pretty nice hit and run right there.
The inning ends, but not before the Rangers tie the game on a Chris Davis home run to the upper deck in right. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Dodge. Grab life. Visit your Texas Dodge dealer today. 2-2 after 2 thanks to Chris Davis, a late addition to the Ranger lineup tonight. Had been 0 for his last 17, but he crushed a home run to knot this game at 2. Now Padilla's got to deal with the 3-4-5, part of the Baltimore Orioles batting order. Nick Markakis, who is 7 out of 10 lifetime against Padilla. High drive, center field. Josh Hamilton, no problem. Baltimore's got only 10 players from last year's opening day roster that made this year's opening day roster. They are pretty much turning things over big time. They're trying to stop a negative trend. They haven't finished with a winning record since going wire to wire in 1997, winning the AL East that year. There's this perception that they're trying to turn around of an organizational demise. 11 consecutive losing seasons into 2009. And the trend has been with a down arrow. They have lost ground each of the last 5 years. They've gone from 78 wins to 74 to 70 to 69 to 68. That is not the vaunted 5-year plan that rebuilding teams always talk about. But you mentioned Andy McPhail earlier. He's kind of been put in charge of the proceedings now, and everybody seems to be feeling very good about how things are going.
Well, Andy had a lot to do, along with Tom Kelly, with the rebuilding and success that the Twins had for a long time. Spent a lot of time with the Cubs, spent a lot of time in the commissioner's office. He's a brilliant baseball guy. He surrounded himself with some good people, and over time, you have to like the Orioles' chances of getting back to where they once were. I don't know if they'll ever dominate the AL East like they did for a while with the rest of the competition that they have, but they can definitely be a winning team and a strong competitor in that division.
It'll be tough to recreate what they had in the 70s. One of the more solid organizations going. To the gap in left center field off the bat of Aubrey Huff. He hit one hard to right center field earlier. This one falls at the base of the wall in left center for a double. Coming home to the Metroplex, 2 for 2 is Aubrey Huff.
Aubrey last year had 48 doubles and 32 home runs. He can drive the ball in the gaps. Last year he hit .304. Probably his best major league season last year. He's had some good ones.
Ground ball to short. And Vicente Padilla will take that. He got Wigginton just to kind of turn it over and roll it to Andrews.
Yeah, it was a good pitch. It was a slider away. Wigginton swung at it like it was a fastball out over the plate. Hit it right off the end of the bat, out in front of it. Just what you want to accomplish with that slider. Hit the bad part of the bat.
Breaking stuff by Padilla's account wasn't quite there his first start. He liked how his fastball was going for him. He gave the Rangers 109 pitches in that win against Cleveland. Well, Kevin Millwood's first 2 starts, 113 pitches and 112. He has not yet allowed an extra base hit this year. He's thrown 225 pitches, just a handful of singles.
Well, everything has looked good from Kevin this year. All his pitches are working, his concentration, going after the hitters, looks terrific.
Nice inning for Padilla now, too, as the Rangers and the Orioles are tied 2-2. Top of the order for the Rangers in the bottom of the third. They've rallied to tie Baltimore 2-2. The Rangers squeaked out a win in the season series against the O's a year ago. In fact, the Rangers have won the season series the last 4 years from Baltimore. The return to home, and the Rangers couldn't run and get those red helmets and caps fast enough. The players seem to really enjoy wearing them. And so far, you got to admit, Tag, they've been good luck.
Well, I don't know how much luck plays. Good luck, red hats, blue hats, but you can't deny that it's 3-3 with the blue hats this year. So 0-3 with the blue hats. So I would go with the red hats myself.
Although, as I'm sure you'll agree, Justin Verlander, Armando Galarraga had something to do with that.
Had more to do with it than the color of the hats?
Yeah, it might have been.
Well, You might be right.
They do look good under the lights here, that's for sure. The red socks, the red hat. Ian Kinsler, one of the few Rangers that wears the socks way up high. You've come to expect that. See the calf muscle for Ian Kinsler. Strike called.
It's okay, he worked the count. He laid off some close pitches to get it to 3-1. Now you have the luxury of looking for your pitch. He didn't get it. Outside corner, strike 2. Still have another big one to swing at.
And he tops it right along the chalk. It's going to spin foul. We were talking about Kevin Millwood. In the 14 innings pitched, only 1 run allowed so far this year. That 1 run was on a 2-out wild pitch. It is a wonderful start for Kevin Millwood. He was the one guy that I think a lot of Ranger fans were just kind of holding their breath about. What are we going to get out of Millwood this year? Early returns are just great.
I just like his presence on the mound right now. You can tell he's feeling good. He's confident. Not much time between pitches. And the other good part is he's pretty confident that he can throw any pitch at any time and throw it for a strike. It's pretty good when you've got a good assortment of pitches like Kevin does.
The last time a Rangers starter began the year with a pair of 7-inning efforts and allowed just 1 run or even 0 in both of those. I'm going to go back to 1993. It was Kevin Brown. That's 16 years ago.
It'd be nice to have a young Kevin Brown come up to the big leagues for you.
Kinsler waits it out.
Good at bat. Don't swing at those close pitches.
Patience, absolutely a virtue. The Rangers, over the last couple of years, really making it into an art now. Wait it out.
A lot of pitches in the strike zone, but a lot of different speeds. Change speeds through a lot of slower pitches and fastball counts. But Ian battled in the at-bat, worked the walk. Might be a threat to steal a base right here.
Thought about it. Michael Young sends it in the air to center field. That ball jumps to the track. Keeps on going. It is gone! Michael Young hits it out.
Josh, there's a perfect example why it's nice to be home. Michael hit a similar ball in Detroit off Justin Verlander that went 417 feet, and Curtis Granderson ran it down at the wall. Today, that ball probably went about 410 feet, and it cleared the fence for a 2-run homer.
Home sweet home. 4-2 Rangers. And now Josh Hamilton, and he sends one high in the air. Oh, he just missed. He got under it. Adam Jones has got that one. Michael Young has got his first home run of 2009.
He's not going to get a big league hitter out too often. 86-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the plate. Uehara is the kind of guy that has to keep hitting the corners, has to keep the ball out of the middle of the plate, change speeds, try to get the guys to be a little bit off balance. But if you wait and try to get a good pitch to hit, if he comes into that part of the plate, his stuff isn't really overpowering and you get a pretty good pitch to hit. That's what Chris Davis did.
Andrew Jones, who is 4 for 6 as a Ranger so far, proved his mettle in spring training. Remember, he could have asked for and had been granted his release on March 20th. The Rangers had not yet added him to the roster. The Rangers stuck with Jones. Jones stuck with the Rangers. And so far, so good, although he offered at that pitch down and away. Again, a 2-0 count. You're not wrong to assume fastball, but that was anything but.
And that's what Uehara has to do. He has to do what Jim Leland said that Galarraga was doing. Throw something when you're looking for something else. Throw this when you're looking for that, and throw that when you're looking for this, I guess was what he said.
Right. Zag when you're expecting zig, and zig when you're expecting zag.
And Andrew did what you want to do on a 2-1 pitch. Take it if it's not a strike.
A lot of hitters' counts that the Rangers have tilted their way tonight. Andrew Jones hammers it. It's going to curl and go foul. Boy, he really got around on that. And it is pronounced Andrew, not Andrew, he says. All those years in Atlanta, a couple of their announcers did the Andrew thing, but it's Andrew.
Yeah, that was interesting when we were talking to him in spring training. He said, I haven't got the slightest idea how they came up with that.
That one's a called third strike. At least according to C.B. Buckner, out number 2. Yeah, Andrew's saying, hey, my folks just spelled it a little different, that's all. Like Kelvin Escobar, not Kelvin, right? With an M. Remember Davy Cruz was D-E-I-V-I.
Edinson Volquez.
Yeah, Edinson.
Threw me off the whole time he was here.
Basketball gave us Anthony Hardaway. Marlon Byrd swings at the first one. A high fly ball. Everybody looking for it. Roberts way out there to make the catch. Aubrey Huff couldn't quite find it, but Roberts did. The Rangers got a 2-run homer up on the hill from Michael Young. And at the end of 3, it's 4-2 Rangers.
On Friday night, fireworks with $5 parking. Saturday, the red Josh Hamilton jersey was $1,300. And on Sunday, red caps for all Ranger fans. Just enter red as the coupon code on TexasRangers.com. It's red out weekend at the ballpark. Save up to $23 a ticket this coming weekend against Kansas City. Ladies and gentlemen, kids 1,300 to sign up now for the Junior Rangers Club right here at the ballpark tonight, presented by Dr. Pepper. Remember the Dr. Pepper Junior Rangers, you'll receive 8 ticket vouchers, a chance to hear from Rangers players at the Meet the Rangers series, a backpack, and a Rangers cap. To sign up, you go to the Centerville kiosk right now. David and Bianca of Fort Worth are signing up to the newest members of the Dr. Pepper Junior Rangers. It's a $225 value for just $15. Congratulations to David and Bianca, the newest members of the Junior Rangers, presented by Dr. Pepper.
Rangers doubling up Baltimore. We're playing the top of the 4th inning. And folks, don't forget, country artist Jack Ingram will be performing on the North Lawn after this Saturday's game. Rangers and Royals play at 7:05. And the concert is right after the game. Admission free to the concert with your Rangers game ticket. That's sponsored by the Big 96.3 KSCS. 972 Rangers, the number to call to get your tickets, or you can get it done at TexasRangers.com. Well, it's funny, Tag. The Rangers won on the road, and the extra base hits just weren't happening for them. They come back home. They get 2 doubles in the first inning, a homer in the second, a homer in the third, against a guy who was just scattering singles in his last start. That's Koji Uehara. So what wasn't happening in Detroit is absolutely happening again back here in Arlington. The Rangers scored 29 runs against the Indians in that 3-game series here at home. Went on the road and scored 20 fewer runs than that in Detroit. Is on a 4-pitch walk. Now that the Rangers have given Padilla the lead. Now the first step from Padilla, unfortunately, is to throw 4 out of the zone. He's going to go after Felix P.A.
And the strength of the Orioles lineup is pretty obvious. It's the top of the lineup. It's first 4 guys in the lineup. So when you get to the bottom of the lineup, you want to make them hit their way on. That's really what he's trying to do. He didn't try to walk them, but
that's what really kind of felled the Rangers in Detroit. The bottom third of that Tiger order was really productive. 5 straight out of the zone. Out goes Teagarden.
I'm not sure how strong Padilla feels in the game tonight. He's thrown a lot of fastballs, sinkers, 86 to 89 miles an hour. It doesn't look like he has his real good fastball today. Either that or he's working more on his 4-seam fastball than he is his 2-seam fastball.
Infield hangs a double play depth. And PA rams it into right field. That ball kicked in right field. It got by Nelly Cruz. So now it's going to be second and third instead of first and second. And that ball got away from Kinsler, too. He's going to go run it down. But after Cruz mishandled it, and he got it into Kinsler, Kinsler bobbled it. Thankfully, after it hit Ian's glove, it didn't roll far enough away for more advancement. But kind of a sloppy play all the way around.
Well, Nelly is coming after that ball like he's anticipating having to make a throw to third base, but that's where you need to know the runner. Zahn is the runner at first base, and he had stopped at second base, and so you then have the luxury of going a little slower, getting more under control, and just making sure you catch the ball. If you've got a faster runner, you have to go after it quickly in anticipation of maybe making a throw at third base, but not with the catcher running.
Off speed missing to the number 9 man is Torres. The Orioles went through 8 different shortstops last year. They did not want to have that happen again, so they went out and got his Torres. Collectively, Orioles shortstops had the 28th best fielding percentage among the 30 major league teams. That will change with his Torres now patrolling that position. Whatever offense they get from him is a bonus. That one fades outside. 90 that time with a fastball. We saw Vinny at 92 or 93 against Cleveland.
I think generally when you see Padilla in this situation, second and third, if he's feeling great, you'll see more like 94, 95 with this fastball.
Third baseman in a bit, but otherwise the infield at regular depth. As his Torres takes a cut at it, fouls it back. We've said that often about Padilla since he's been a Ranger. What's enjoyable about him is how he just seems to be able to ratchet it up a notch when there is a situation like second and third, nobody out.
Yeah, he may have that gear. He hasn't shown it yet. So what he's going to have to do today is he's going to have to pitch without that exceptional fastball. And he's got the pitches to do that. Pretty good slider right there. Pick up a big out.
Andrews making sure the runners don't move. So now second and third, 1 out. Has to deal with Brian Roberts. Checking our fourth leaderboard, Brian Roberts against the Rangers over the last few years has done some damage. And again, a lot of that has been against Padilla. 9 for 14 lifetime. First base open, but here in the 4th inning, they're going to certainly go ahead and pitch to Brian Roberts. Rangers went for an intentional walk late in the game yesterday, and it seemed to be the percentage move, but it backfired. Maglia Ordonez had just gotten on. So then what do you do? Excuse me, it just struck out. And then what do you do is the question with Miguel Cabrera in first base open. Cabrera hitting .516. The guy behind him, Guillen, was hitting .150. So they put the .516 hitter on base to face the .150 hitter, but the .150 hitter hit a double. That ball sailing to Cruz. He's got to play it on a hop. And he'll fire it in. Too late. A tough inning out there for Nelly Cruz in right field. He played it cautiously, deciding he did not have a chance to get it, and I guess didn't want to take a chance there, right? That if he dives, it's going to skip by him.
Yeah, it looked like, I mean, I've seen Nelly catch balls like that. You get a good jump and you just sprint in after it. But he was a little bit tentative on that ball. I'm not sure he thought he could get to the ball. And if you don't think you can get to it, then you're probably better off playing it on a hop.
Just a little hesitation out there.
I think if he'd gotten a good jump and came right after that ball, he could have shoestrung it and probably had a play at the plate, because I don't think Zahn could have scored if he was able to catch that ball in the air.
So now it's first and third. And that runner at third, Felix P.A., being tended to by Richie Bancells, longtime Orioles trainer. Richie Bancells came along with Cal Ripken all the way through the minor leagues. And then when Cal Ripken Jr. got to the big leagues, Richie Bancells was right there getting to the big leagues too. That is Juan Samuel, the third base coach over there, one of the more outgoing, interesting guys to talk to in baseball. Had some huge years with the Phillies about 25 years ago. And yes, he actually named his son Samuel. Samuel is now 8 years old. Runners at the corners, and Padilla deals. Gets a strike. Adam Jones, who was 4 for 4 opening day for Baltimore and hasn't really slowed down much since then. On the ground, hot shot, base hit by a diving Michael Young. Jones takes a turn. He's going to second base. And this game is tied. Well, those two plays in right field end up costing the Rangers here. Now Nick Markakis, their big-time RBI guy, comes up second and third and still just one out.
It's been a case where when Vicente has wanted to go to his fastball, he hasn't had his normal velocity. The best he's gotten it up to has been about 90. I think it's allowed the Orioles to wait a little bit better on his off-speed pitches, although that was a hanging curveball right down the middle of the plate. That pitch is going to get hit hard pretty consistently in the big leagues. But it's just a case of, in this game, Vinny just does not have as good fastball. He's trying to work around it, but having a tough time with it.
Infield is back for the Rangers, so a slowly hit ground ball should give Baltimore the lead. Roberts, great speed over there at third. Looped into right, another base hit. Nelly Cruz will play this one cleanly and fire it in there, but runners at the corner, still just one out, and it's 5-4 Baltimore. It looks like the Rangers bullpen will stir now as Mike Maddox is on his way. The Rangers pitching coach go out there and talk to Padilla. Padilla's a double play away from getting out of this inning now. But boy, Nick Markakis, another of the guys, just continuing to wear out Padilla. He's now a career 8 for 12 against Padilla. Scott Feldman getting ready. By the way, on the out-of-town scoreboard, the Yankees trying to come back in Tampa Bay. It's now 10-2. Nick Swisher has hit his third home run of the year. He's had a huge start for the Yankees.
Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to play very much for the Yankees. He was almost a backup first baseman, fourth or fifth outfielder.
Yeah. Coming off a .219 batting average as a White Sox a year ago.
but he's a lot better than that. He's gotten hot and he's gotten a chance to play.
First one's a good one to Aubrey Huff. Royals lead the Indians 3-0 in the third inning. What a rough start for Cleveland. They finally got their first win of the year yesterday, but that's their only win so far. A great big curveball drops right in there. You don't even get pulled over for doing 56. That's what we saw on the radar garden reading right there.
Well, without his fastball, that's what he's having to do, is go to other pitches. But your other pitches aren't as effective when you don't have that good fastball.
Minnesota's leading Toronto tonight 4-2. Rangers will be heading to Toronto in about a week. And we'll also go play these Orioles on that road trip. Now, there's a fastball, but at only 89, and it's taken the other way for a base hit to make it 6-4. 4 straight hits.
If Vinny had that other gear, Aubrey's probably not able to drive that high fastball into left field like that. He might have been a little bit later on it. And instead of 94, 95, it's 89. Big difference.
Well, the Orioles are 10 for 20 against Padilla. And you look at last year, Tom, for whatever reason, this was just not a good matchup for Padilla. Last year, Padilla went 6 2/3 innings only against the Orioles in 2 starts total. 17 hits allowed, 14 runs at an ERA of 19 against his Baltimore team. I got Ty Wigginton on a ground ball last time. This time it's a 5th consecutive Baltimore base hit. Bird is up with it, ushers it into Andrews, no throw, coming home. Another run for Baltimore. They're leading 7-4.
Well, Vinny's doing his best, but he's out there without his good stuff tonight, and the Orioles are really taking advantage of that and jumping all over it.
Boy, that means in the last 10 innings for Padilla now against Baltimore, he has allowed them 28 hits in those 10 innings. Ron Washington has seen enough. Scott Feldman, who of course was a starter a year ago, will be asked to come on and give the Rangers some innings now. Still just 1 out in a 5-run top of the 4th. And a short night for Vicente Padilla. We'll come back and tell you about the new pitcher in a moment. It's the Orioles 7 and the Rangers 4. Rough night for Vicente Padilla, especially this fourth inning, which is still ongoing. 5 runs in for Baltimore. And now Scott Feldman gets put in the ball game, trying to just do some damage control here. Scott pitched in the game against the Indians on Thursday. Didn't walk anybody, but did give up 5 hits. You like the attitude that Scott has. I know he was thrilled to get a chance to start last year. He proved he can do that, but just kind of nudged out for now out of that rotation. He says, all right, I'm told I can help the club in the bullpen. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Inducing a double play ball here would be spectacular. Feldman's got the kind of stuff that matches up with that. Got ground balls when he needed them last year. 24 double plays he got last year, most on the team. One-time 30th round draft pick, Scott Feldman. Remember, one of the hits in this inning, one of those 5 in a row for the Orioles, the one that kind of fooled Nelly Cruz out there. He played it on a hop. But from that point on, it was all pretty legit. Five straight hits now for Baltimore and 11 for the game. Padilla's on the hook here for these 2 runners on base.
And I think that all you can say about
tonight, but now they will need at least 8. Foul back this way by Luke Scott. White Sox beat the Tigers earlier today 10-6. Pair of home runs for Carlos Quentin, who's already got 4 for the year. Jermaine Dye hit one out. Paul Konerko hit one out. Feldman deals and misses down too low. We talked about that Chicago-Detroit game, and this is pretty quirky. Jermaine Dye was sitting on 299 career homers, and so was Paul Konerko.
Wow.
And they
tough pitch to lay off of because it starts out in the strike zone and ends up well out of the strike zone.
big couple of batters here. I mean, 7 of 4 is certainly not an insurmountable deficit at all. Not in this ballpark. Feldman came on with 2 on, 1 out, trying to freeze the Orioles at 7 runs. Well, the Rays are now up to 11 runs. They've got an 11-2 lead on the Yankees tonight. 6 runs batted in for Carlos Pena. You see Taylor Teagarden get the mask rattled right there.
Well, the inning started with a leadoff 4-pitch walk to Zahn and kind of went downhill from there.
Couple National League scores real quick, Tag. The Mets opening up their new ballpark tonight, back to within 6-5, trailing the Padres. And they're threatening in the bottom of the 6th inning. Reds lead the Brewers 7-5 early. That's only in the 3rd. Wave and a miss. Pumped the fastball right by him. Ten men have batted in this top of the 4th inning. A very painfully long top of the 4th inning. Feldman's taking longer than Padilla tonight. He and Teagarden just can't get together on the signals. Some room down the right field line for Zahn. The outfielder's kind of cranked around towards the left side by a couple of steps. And indeed, Feldman pitches it away. If that's where the outfielders are, that's not a bad idea. You get one into Zahn, and he pulls it. No chance for Nelly Cruz. But damage done. 5 runs on the board, all charged to Padilla. 7-4 Baltimore. Bottom of the 4th coming up. The Rangers are trailing 7-4. The good news is they haven't lost yet this year when wearing red, Mr. Green. And I believe there's a theme developing in the dot race because red continues to just dominate there, too. I think red is 4-0 now in the dot race at home. Here's video evidence.
Blue gave him a pretty good race today.
What would you think of calling Parker Brothers and seeing if there's any interest in marketing a board game called Dot Race? Just have 3 dots and you just push them around the board, and no, not so much.
I think it works a little bit better at the ballpark.
I agree. Upon further review, not a very interesting board game. Nelson Cruz trying to make up for a couple of missteps in right field in that top of the 4th inning. Facing the Japanese right-hander Uehara, who deals a strike. He's been sitting on the bench for a while, his Uehara. A long 5-run top of the 4th. Towering fly ball into the infield. And it's Torres is going to grab it. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. Big night tomorrow and also Wednesday night for Ranger fans. They get a nice calendar. First 10,000 Ranger fans crossing through the turnstiles. And the Lothian baseball team happy about that. Hey, also good news. Chris Davis, David Murphy, they each autograph 100 of these calendars. So lucky fans will maybe nab one of those autographs. A nice calendar that will be handed out Tuesday and Wednesday night. And Josh and Tom, ever thought about getting a nice hairdo like this, huh? Not bad? Not bad, huh? Ranger blue right here. Tom, you'd look good with it on, huh?
I can only dream about having hair right there, Jim, but it's a great idea.
Saltalamacchia signed the calendars tonight. Yeah, Davis has signed them for tomorrow. And Davis is having himself a nice night at the plate tonight. A guy that was not in the starting lineup originally for Ron Washington. Supposed to get the night off, but with Hank Blaylock favoring a sore neck, Davis gets the opportunity and it cashes in. He's got more hits for the year on nights he's not supposed to play than on nights he is supposed to play. A couple other scores we failed to get to last inning. The Pirates dumped the Astros 7-0. It's been a rough start this year for Houston. They're now 1-6. That was Zach Duke who went all the way, a 4-hit shutout for that win for the Pirates. Cubs shut out the Rockies today behind Ted Lilly 4-0. Took a no-hit bid into the 7th inning there. He did that late last year against the Brewers, too. Ground ball from Teagarden to short. The sure-handed as Torres will turn it. A 6-4-3 double play. A forgettable 4th inning. On to the 5th we go. Baltimore 7 and the Rangers 4. Stay in town tomorrow and Wednesday. Then the Royals come in over the weekend. And don't forget on Sunday, all fans get that brand spanking new Red Rangers cap modeled here by our male model, Fritz Dykert. That cap given away by Fox Sports Southwest. And for tickets to that game and every Rangers game, you can either call 972-RANGERS or go to TexasRangers.com. You don't automatically become as good looking as Fritz Dykert just by wearing the cap, but it doesn't hurt. Shattered bat here by Felix P.A. And strike one from Scott Feldman.
P.A.'s looking at the bat like he can't believe it broke in half. He hit it right off the end of the bat.
It's two. It's two. PA is Torres and Roberts here against Feldman. The final line on Vicente Padilla, 3 1/3 innings, 11 hits. And the 7 runs allowed. Just, what, the 1 strikeout, or did he have 2? He had 1, I think.
He had 1. And you won't see that kind of a game, 7 runs, 11 hits off Vicente in 3 1/3, unless it's a game where he just didn't have his good stuff. And that was the case tonight. They took advantage of it, and they got him on an off night.
Down and outside to PA. We mentioned his former team, the Cubs, a winner today. The Cubs go to 5-2 for the year. Smoke to right field. Felix PA sails it out of here to make it 8-4.
Got the fastest home run trot of the year, too.
It's like a home run sprint.
His home run trot might be quicker than Benji Molina's inside the park home run trot.
First as a Baltimore Oriole. The guy that was supposed to be doing that for the Cubs, it didn't quite pan out. 8-4 Baltimore. Now as Torres sends it towards Kinsler. The backhand pickup, little hesitation. Got him.
That's where that good strong arm comes in handy. Second baseman without a good arm might end up seeing his Torres safe at first base right there. Yep, right in the middle of the strike zone.
That was a no doubt about it shot, but he's not going to, as I used to say, Cadillac it around the bases right there. I haven't heard that in like 20 years. Nobody says Cadillac it anymore. Meaning take your time in style around those bases. That was more like a Prius right there. Down too low to Brian Roberts. You didn't really have a home run trot, did you? Not a discernible, identifiable one?
No, I didn't hit enough of them to like choreograph the trot around the bases.
You know who used to run around like that was Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Would hit him out and just like he had something overcooking in an oven somewhere and had to get to it real quick.
My favorite home run trot was Willie Montañez. Guillermo. He hit a home run one time in New York when I was playing for the Mets. He almost went and shook hands with the guys in the dugout. It took him about a minute and a half to get around the bases. But he's such a likable guy, I don't think it even rubbed the other team the wrong way.
One guy that I know used to really rub guys the wrong way was Jeffrey Leonard. Had that one flap down thing.
Yeah.
In for a strike to Roberts. Dave Parker would have his fingers kind of pointed like pistols sometimes when he would run around in his trot.
Some guys get to practice it a lot more than the rest of us. They should have a good trot.
Here's ball 4 to Roberts. He's been on base 4 times in 5 innings. Then you had the posers, right? The guys that would hit him and just stand there and admire him for a while. That was probably Reggie Jackson was the king of that, I think.
Pretty good. Ricky Henderson was pretty good at it, too, even though he wasn't a home run hitter. But Ricky was known to pose a little bit. A lot of guys do that, though.
I think one of the great Cadillacers, though, was Barry Bonds. He would take his time getting around. If that sounds like an email topic, I guess it could be. Our email is up and running this year at foxsports.com. Keyword email Rangers if you want to get in touch. And for you Twitterians, if you're at twitter.com, it's Rangers TV Josh, all one word. And you can Twitter us your thoughts in 140 characters or less. I never saw Mickey Mantle play, but the videotape I've seen, I like Mickey Mantle, how he would run around the bases, kind of with his head down, almost like he was embarrassed to have hit one that far. Roberts goes. Teagarden throws, and what a play by Andrews to make sure it didn't get into center field. He was already at the bag. He had to reach behind him. That is a steal of second base for Brian Roberts.
If you go back to when Mickey Mantle played, Josh, I don't think announcers ever had this conversation. There weren't famous home run trots.
Yeah.
Guys didn't pose. Guys didn't Cadillac it. Guys didn't hot dog it. You hit the home run and you ran around the bases. That's more of a current thing. I don't know how current over the last, 20 years maybe. But back then, players didn't do that. Football players didn't have end zone dances. Basketball players didn't choreograph slam dunks. That's just kind of the way it is now.
Well, even hockey players are getting into the act now. We saw the highlight the other day of a guy scored a goal, and he had to drop his stick on the ice because it was too hot.
That was good. It's got entertainment value. Let's face it, this is entertainment.
Feldman had a chance to catch Roberts off of second. He will settle for the out at first. Hard comebacker by Adam Jones. Yeah, nobody's doing the icky shuffle in baseball, thankfully. But
yeah, the one golfer that used to have a little bit of that was Chichi Rodriguez, when he would make the putt and he'd stick the putter back like it was a sword,
like Zorro.
Yeah, and everybody loved Chichi, so no one really looked at it as grandstanding or anything. But you don't see any of that at all.
Well, I grew up, waiting for Ozzie Smith to get on NBC Game of the Week because I wanted to see him take that backflip on his way out to his position.
Although I think golfers are probably a little more demonstrative now than they were way back when. Like even Tiger, when Tiger wins a tournament with a big putt, you'll see him with that fist pump. I don't remember Gary Player, or Arnold Palmer, or Jack Nicklaus ever doing that. But that's just, change in times, I guess.
Up too high from Feldman to Markakis in an 8-4 game in the 5th inning.
I think it still boils down to, if you're Barry Bonds, no one says anything. You hit that many home runs, you can go around the bases any way you want.
Sure.
If you're Tiger Woods and you have a fist pump, no one's going to say anything. But when you're the backup catcher and you've hit your second home run of the last 5 years and you go into a home run trot after watching it go out of the park, that does rub people the wrong way.
How about all the choreographed handshakes? You got any problem with that? I think those
I like that.
I think those are kind of cool.
I really, it's different now. I don't think it's good or bad. It's just, I think it has entertainment value. I think people like to see that. We'll show the replay of it. Fans like to see it. And guys are just a little more colorful now. Show their personality a little bit more. I don't really have a problem with it.
We've come a long way from the high five, that's for sure. The 1980 college basketball champion Louisville Cardinals supposedly popularized the high five. Derek Smith and Wiley Brown and Darrell Cleveland, they decided they'd do something wacky. They called it the high five, and we just take that for granted now. Everybody high fives. That's ball 4 to Markakis.
The one type of thing that I don't like, you're one of the football players, you're down 38-6 in the 4th quarter and you get a sack and you taunt the guy that you just sacked, go into your sack routine. That is probably a little bit out of place. I didn't really like it when T.O. went to the flag in the center of Cowboy Stadium that time. I did like it when the Cowboy knocked him down when he tried to do it the second time, though. Who was that?
That was, when he went to the Star?
Yeah, when he went to the Star.
Is that George Teague?
I don't know. But it was a good move by the Cowboy guy.
Kurt Dykert says it was George Teague.
Okay. Take his word for it.
Aubrey Huff, one of many Orioles, with a big night brewing.
I think when you make those kind of moves in any sport for entertainment value, it's fine. But when you do it in a way that shows up one of your competitors, then I think people frown on that. And I think when T.O. went to midfield in Cowboy Stadium as an opposing player, that's showing up the Cowboys in their home park, and to me that goes a little overboard.
Clubbed foul by Aubrey Huff, who's bidding for his 4th hit of the night. They've already had Roberts on base 4 times. They've had Markakis on 3 times, Huff on 3 times. Yeah, this Baltimore team can hit a little bit. And since we're talking football, time of possession, very lopsided in this game. Check swing, did he go? No, says Brian Gorman. give a brother a break. 33 pitches already for Feldman coming on in relief. And he held up, though. Two on, two out, and a 2-2 count. The former Brewer High School product. Aubrey Huff was not a power hitter at Brewer High School. Outside of Fort Worth, he was kind of a skinny slap hitter for the Brewer Bears. 1 home run his 2 years on the Brewer High School varsity, but well, look at him now.
That's why scouting in baseball is so difficult. How in the world could you scout Aubrey then and anticipate that he'd be a big league slugger?
A 4-hit game for Aubrey Huff coming home. And speaking of coming home, there's Brian Roberts to make it 9-4. And Mike Maddox already on the field to go have a word with Scott Feldman out there on the mound. Maddox is going to beat Feldman to the mound. Look at this. He was there waiting for him. It was on his way home from a Rangers game at the age of 9 that Aubrey Huff told his mom, "I will do whatever it takes, but I want a batting cage so I can work on being a big leaguer myself someday." And Mom covered the whole bill. $2,500 for a backyard batting cage. It was a really good investment.
Pretty good down payment on the career Aubrey's had.
Yep. It's a 3 RBI night for him. Now Ty Wigginton, who singled in a run last inning. A lot of first pitch hacking from Ty Wigginton tonight. All right, a couple other scores we didn't get to. The Phillies 9-8 over Washington today. That was the Nationals home opener, and the Nats are now 0-7. Brad Lidge the save. Another ground ball, another base hit. Up with the ball is Marlon Byrd. He'll fire right on target. The tag, safe the call. And here comes Ron Washington to argue with C.B. Buckner. 10-4 Baltimore.
It looked like the throw was there in time, but when Taylor fielded it, he might have been on the first base side of the plate, and it appeared that Markakis got his foot on the other side of home plate. From Ron's viewpoint, he might not have been able to see that, but let's take a look. I think from Ron's perspective, it looked like he was safe, but looking at the replay, it looked like Taylor dropped the ball anyway.
That's a good call. And the ball came loose, you're right. But yeah, there's a real clear path right there for that incoming runner. Taylor didn't quite get over enough to block him. 14 hits for Baltimore. And the Rangers have only achieved 14 outs in this game. Up over top is Luke Scott. He's had a slow start to his year. 3 out of 19. Action will begin again in the Ranger bullpen. Again, Feldman up around 40 pitches on in relief. It looks like Josh Roop getting ready for the Rangers. Dodgers beat the Giants today 11-1. Orlando Hudson hit for the cycle in that game. Dodger fans are digging him right away. Yeah,
that's one of those signings that went so long that you just wondered what other teams were thinking. Once the Dodgers signed him, it wasn't a huge contract, at least by today's standards. And as fine a player as Orlando Hudson is, you would have thought somebody else might have had some interest. But as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of teams with good second basemen. So there's not a lot of teams looking for a second baseman.
Andre Ethier, a pair of home runs in that game, but no cycle. And again, if you're just joining us, some very sad news in the baseball world today in a double dose of it. 2 deaths. Both of them very surprising. Mark Fidrich, the former Tiger pitcher, very popular, charismatic pitcher, passed away today. And the great Harry Kalas, the voice of the Phillies and the voice of NFL films. Harry the K at 73 years old, just turned 73. Wave and a miss by Scott. And another long inning ends. It was 5 in the 4th, now 3 in the 5th for the Orioles, who lead by a half a dozen. Well, the Rangers averaged 10 runs per game when they were taking on the Cleveland Indians last homestand. They'll need to find a way to get to 10 tonight just to force a tie. Orioles 10, Rangers 4, bottom of the 5th inning. Orioles exacting some revenge from that 30-3 debacle of a couple of years ago. Still one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. The conveyor belt just kept on moving that night. It wouldn't stop. Andrews sends one to right field. And he's now 0 for 2 tonight. That game was 3-0 Baltimore with 2 out in the top of the 4th. And who knew? The Rangers would run out 30 unanswered runs and make history. They got no runs batted in that game from their RBI leader, Michael Young. Sammy Sosa was here that year. He was on the bench for that game. But Salty and Ramon Vasquez had 7 each in terms of runs batted in from the 8 and 9 spots in the order.
David Murphy had a pretty good day, too.
Yeah. Metcalf had the pinch hit grand slam. I think the really amazing thing about that game that no one will ever believe, but it's true. Only 4 pitchers were used by Baltimore in that game to give up the 30 runs. And that's because they had a game 2 of a doubleheader still ahead. They didn't want to burn the bullpen.
That game didn't go too well either for the Orioles.
No.
Was it 9-2?
Yeah, they gave up 9 runs in the nightcap. One and 2 to Kinsler, who has a double and a walk and a couple of runs. And now he's got to call 3rd strike, and he didn't like that at all. And he will draw with C.B. Buckner. Williams got to be careful here. Ron Washington out to keep the peace.
I like that CB let Ian get his words in without challenging him, without turning around and getting in his face, and without ejecting him from the game. Let him have what he wanted to say. And,
Ian had a case.
Yeah, and CB probably knew that he missed it. So a little bit more receptive to the words from Ian. You don't see Ian argue that much. He had a good argument then, though.
That brings up Michael Young, who supercharged one his last time up. Powered one up there on the hill for a 2-run home run. That gave the Rangers a 4-2 lead, but then Baltimore bounced back with 5 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th. Oh, a cue shot foul this time. Same two teams tomorrow, don't forget. Brandon McCarthy will be on the mound. Wednesday, Chris Benson, former Oriole.
Give Uehara some credit. He's hanging in there because of his assortment of pitches. He's not throwing very hard. His fastball is 86, 87. But he's got a good assortment of pitches and makes that mid-80s fastball look a little bit harder. And you can throw slider, curveball, splitter.
It's that little bit of everything. You're right. You don't know what to expect or when to expect.
Probably has a little deception in his delivery. Most Japanese players do have that. Japanese pitchers.
2-2 pitch. Inside this time.
Michael stands a little bit more off the plate than Ian does. But even though Ian was on the plate, it was pretty obvious that that pitch was not strike 3. It was actually inside.
Hot shot off the glove of Uehara into center field. Couple of hits for Michael Young tonight, and if the Rangers are going to start that comeback, here's a good chance to do it. Josh Hamilton's coming up. That's a big swing, but a foul up near third. Josh, again, loves swinging at that first pitch.
You see a lot of players go get a new bat when the end of that bat is chipped. You can see the little chip in the end of Josh's bat. It really doesn't make any difference because if you hit the ball up there, you're not going to get anything anyway. And that little chip at the end of the bat's not going to affect the sweet spot of the bat where you want to hit the ball. Josh said, "The heck with it."
High pop foul from Josh. I mentioned the Rangers and Orioles playing tomorrow and Wednesday. The Rangers have a day off on Thursday. Then they welcome in the Kansas City Royals, and it looks like the Rangers will be getting the good stuff from Kansas City. It's Gil Mesh in the opener, Zach Greinke in game 2 of that series, and Kyle Davies.
Yeah, that's not a soft spot right there. Those are 3 good pitchers. Davies is throwing the ball well right now. Greinke, one of the best young pitchers in the league, and Mesh, a solid veteran.
Slowly hit towards second base. And the Michael Young base hit goes for naught. The Rangers turned away despite the 1 hit, and at the end of 5, it's 10-4. Orioles have scored 8 times in the last 2 innings, and the top of the order getting it done for Baltimore. Davis a long home run for the Rangers tonight. Michael Young has hit one out too. 10-4 as we go to the 6th, and we go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. I ran in a group of fans from London, England, big Ranger fans. Now, how did this come about?
Well, we got dragged along to a game about 4 years ago when we first got here. And we sat, we didn't understand a word of it, but we had the night of our lives. It was so much fun, and the atmosphere, the whole family deal. It's great.
All right, since then you have moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and you've been a big-time Ranger fan ever since. And I understand you dragged someone else from London, England tonight. What is your name?
Grace.
Grace, this is your very first baseball game. What do you think?
I think it's wicked. It's really, really good. It's good atmosphere.
Good atmosphere? What have you enjoyed so far?
The dot race. Yeah, it's been really good, really good.
All right. Good day, mate. No, just that Kurt Dykert continues, the producer continues to say me. I know you watch at home. You hear me say that, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
What's your name?
Bradley.
Bradley. Okay, Bradley, you're going to be a future Ranger, right, buddy? Okay, good to see you. Good to have the man family and the good friend out on hand. Thank you very much, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Governor. It's nice to have Ranger fans from wherever.
Baseball will be a tough sport to watch for the first time and really try to figure out exactly what was going on.
Fly ball, shallow left, and Andrews is back on it. We'll take care of Greg Zahn. You've been to London.
Yes, I have. I wish I could have gone to Wembley Stadium. I wanted to do that, but we were there in the wintertime. There wasn't much going on. It was freezing.
Wembley was awesome. The Chargers and Saints played there this year. Oh,
that's right, yeah.
So I got a free trip to London out of that.
Is that a neat stadium?
Unbelievable.
Actually, I'd like to go to Wimbledon, too. That'd be fun.
Had a lot of fish and chips when I was there, and those meat pies too. They love those meat pies.
I like London a lot. I like visiting all the sites. I wasn't overly impressed with the food, however.
No. You can't get that Nolan Ryan beef. You can't get the brisket. You can't get the nachos.
Whatever you do get costs a lot.
It really does.
It's not cheap.
Did you get to meet the Beatles?
No, I didn't,
no?
As a matter of fact.
Shocking. Meantime, 3-0 to Felix, PA. And a 10-4 game here in the top of the 6th.
When you go to a museum here, you might see something that's 100 years old. You go there, you see something that's like 800 years old.
I know, it's amazing. Television's a little off there, the telly.
I didn't watch too much television.
Well, you were out getting culture. I was watching BBC One. Fly ball left center, and PA, who's already homered tonight, dumps this one into left center. He's going to slam on the brakes here. He thought about a double and changed his mind.
Well, PA can fly, but Josh got to that ball quickly, and all the Ranger outfielders throw very well. And PA, even with his speed, probably would have been out if he tried to go to second. Josh made a nice throw into second base. Not an easy throw to make when you're going in that direction and you're a left-handed thrower, but it was right on the money. Nice day for PA. 2 singles and a home run.
He's been on base 3 times. Huff has been on base 4 times, as has Brian Roberts. Now his Torres will carve one to left field. Marlon Byrd will lock it up. And it came out of the glove, but only after he had it long enough, says Brian Gorman. All right, now Roberts, 2 singles, a double, and a walk, and a stolen base. And we've already talked about how over the last few years this guy has just feasted on the Rangers. He was supposed to have been traded to the Cubs last year. That never did happen. We kept hearing Marlon Byrd was going to get traded to the Cubs, and that never happened. The Rangers were happy to keep Marlon. He had a great year, and the Orioles got a career year out of Roberts. Probably the best player the O's ran out there last year. He had an on-base percentage of close to .380. We talked about the career-high 51 doubles. He was also 4th in the league in steals. Hey, quick email that I want to ask you here.
Okay.
Somebody wanted to know, do you still take batting practice? Can you still turn on the heat?
The last time I took batting practice, I was in the Ranger cage with my son, Ben.
Okay.
And it was probably 6 years ago. And I was pitching to him, but after we got done, he cranked up the pitching machine and said, "Let me see you swing a bat." So I actually did. That was probably the only time in the last 15 years I've ever done that.
Now it's golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We take a lot of golf swings.
10-4 Baltimore.
Especially on the course.
Time now for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. The jackpot tonight worth $500 plus tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for two at Sonic. We say good luck to Veronica Reyes of Dallas. If a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. Andrew Jones has been a bright spot yet again. He's got an RBI double. But the Rangers being out-hit 15-6 tonight, trailing Baltimore 10-4. I talked about it being a down year for the Orioles last year. They actually had a winning record outside of their division. But against that tough AL East competition, they were 22-50.
Well, that's probably why they feel so good about the start of their season. They've won 2 out of 3 from the Yankees and Tampa Bay. Maybe trying to reverse that trend.
Oriole fans were trying to hang with the program last year. And the ball club kind of proceeded to cheese them off down the stretch. They lost 30 of their last 37 games, did the Orioles last year. And a few years ago, they lost 32 of their last 36.
Wow.
That does not look real good heading into the offseason. Was it the 72 or the 73 Rangers that had that tailspin?
The last 14.
Yeah.
I remember those very well. Because before that loss, that losing streak started, Ted Williams said to me, "I'm going to play you every day for the last 2 weeks of the season to see what you can do." We lost 13 straight, and on the last Sunday of the season, he said, "I'm playing Lee May in right field today. I got to win one game before the season's over." Those exact words, too. Okay.
Andrew Jones takes a walk as the Rangers will try to get that big-time 6th inning rally started. Yeah, 72 and 73, not the high-water marks for the Rangers. Marlon Byrd with the infield of double play depth, and he'll slug it towards left. It's down for a base hit. Jones will motor towards third. Dave Anderson holds him there. Marlon Byrd has a double. Well, the fans wanted Andrew Jones to keep going as the ball wasn't played cleanly out there, but no way you take a chance, right? You're down 10-4.
No, and the third base coach has to make his decision before he saw what happened. But still, with nobody out, you're down by 6 runs. You have to take a chance on having a big inning right here and not taking any chances on having anybody thrown out. So leave it up to the guys coming up next to drive in the runs. And it's hard to anticipate that that ball was going to get stuck underneath the tarp, like underneath the padding like that. So he had to hold Jones up before he saw that.
Action will begin in the Baltimore bullpen. Uehara's at 81 pitches for the night. There's some restraint there from Nelly Cruz.
Well, against a guy like Uehara, you have to really go up there and concentrate to get a good pitch to hit, because he's not throwing that hard. His stuff is probably, judging on big league pitchers, below average. But still, if you go up there and swing at pitches a little bit out of the strike zone, you're doing him a big favor. Make him get the ball in the strike zone, it can be a big difference.
Danny Baez getting ready in the bullpen. And you know what's a tasty treat? It's a sonic slam inning. It's 2-0 on Cruz, first base open. And Crush is on deck. Chris Davis getting set to bat. He's already homered to the upper deck tonight. Could give away $25,000 within the first 7 days of the season. Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, went out there to have a word with Uehara, who, by the way, doesn't speak that much English. Uehara, that is. Rick Kranitz speaks it very well. Whatever has been communicated, though, here we go. With the guy who leads the Rangers in home runs, it's Uehara to Cruz. Outside. Swinging 3-0. Wanted to hit that one off the southwest side, not the one on the field, the one like 800 feet from here.
In that situation, down by 6, you have to think Uehara is going to just try to throw it right down the middle of the plate, which he did. Nelly just missed it. Had a good swing at it.
Could almost hear him grunting up here.
He might have swung a little too hard.
Now it's 3-2. Another big swing. That time it looked like a slider.
I got to think, if Nelly was in a real good groove right now, he launches one of those last 2 pitches.
He will take a walk, and here comes Davis with the bases loaded.
Well, the good thing is he got his swings in, didn't catch up with one, but still worked the walk.
Dave Tremblay on his way out there, and Danny Baez will be coming into the game, and the very first thing he's going to have to do is face Davis with the bases loaded. Davis, again, has already parked one in the upper deck tonight. So on a night where the Rangers were up 4-2 and now trailing 10-4, they got a bases loaded, nobody out chance when we come back right here on My 27. Take you back to the second inning, and Chris Davis, who wasn't even in the original lineup tonight, a 432-foot blast. That tied the game at the time, 2-2. Now Denny Baez comes on. He's a guy that's been battling injury problems the last couple of years. What a spot he inherits. Bases loaded, nobody out. We're playing a Sonic slam inning. 25,000 on the line for Veronica Reyes of Dallas.
Baez had elbow surgery at the end of the 07 season. Didn't pitch at all last year. Orioles signed him to a 3-year contract for 07, 08, and 09. 07 he was 0-6 with a 6.4 ERA. Last year he didn't pitch. Brian Bass in the Oriole bullpen is the only guy out of 7 in the bullpen for the Orioles who wasn't on the disabled list last year. The whole bullpen was on the disabled list except for him, and he spent most of the season with the Twins.
When he pitched the other day, he gave up 4 home runs in relief. Ball and a strike to count to the Longview native Davis. Smacks it foul off the brick down that right field line. Boy, he turned on that. A little straighter, a little farther. Veronica Reyes buys a lot of good food from Sonic with a $25,000 check.
By a Sonic franchise.
Nailed to right field. It does sit down for a base hit, or is it? Safe at second base. You had to wait. That could have been a fielder's choice. It's 10-5. The bases are still loaded.
There's nothing Nelly could do either, because Markakis has an excellent arm. It's the same situation we saw the other day. If you go too far towards second and he catches the ball, he can throw you out at first. So you have to hold your ground, and the minute you see him catch the ball on a hop, sprint to second, and he just barely got in. But that actually was really good base running by Nelly to beat that throw. Another nice job by Chris with 2 strikes to get a base hit.
Been a weird night for Nelly Cruz as Taylor Teagarden steps in. Chops it foul down the line. Let's take you back here to that Chris Davis hit and watch Nelly Cruz in the box on the right.
He can't keep going, but he goes as soon as the ball bounces, and with a head-first dive, sneaks right in there. Good job by Nelly.
Strike 2 called to Teagarden. And Nelly had that right field adventure in the 4th inning. That one ball that was kind of a hot potato out there that fell down in front of him, but he at least kept it from getting by him. Charged with an error on another ball out there. Zahn all but belly flops on top of that ball to keep it from getting by. Teagarden a walk, and he's hit into a double play tonight. He's had some good luck in this ballpark in a short sample when he came up last year. Slowly hit. Charged at third. Teagarden is out, but another run scores. 10-6, and the Rangers have second and third and just one away. That'll go as the first RBI of the year for Teagarden.
Well, on the ground ball, everybody advanced to base, so it's second and third. Rangers have a chance to get a couple more right here.
Elvis Andrus, who remember has scored a run in every big league game he's ever played in, coming into tonight. Off speed, strike one. Chopper foul. Baez again ahead of a Ranger hitter. The Rangers in that series in Detroit had 6 hits or fewer in every game. Already 8 hits tonight, and they've scored 6 runs. But the problem is obvious. They've given up 10. Pretty good 2-strike cut right there for Andrus. Fouled it away.
It had a real good 2-strike pitch by Baez. It looked like a hanging slider that was up and out over the plate.
Down too low with Kinsler on deck. Remember how upset Ian was that last at bat that he had. He took a called 3rd strike. Replay seemed to prove that it was not a called 3rd strike, but Ian might be able to get up there with a chance to do some damage in a minute. On the ground slowly to short is Torres. Thought about coming home, instead wings it to first, and the Rangers get closer. It's now 10-7.
Well, the key right there is with 2 strikes, shorten your stroke, put the ball in play. Don't strike out in that situation, and he didn't. He hit the ball on the ground, got the run in. Good job.
First time Kinsler is facing Baez. Michael Young has faced him plenty. He's on deck. Look out.
Well, Ian will see a lot of that, a lot of those pitches throughout the course of the season because he stands close to the plate and he doesn't give an inch. He doesn't get out of the way till he absolutely has to. Totally unintimidated by high heat.
Ian with a double, also a walk tonight. Another ground ball swept along towards 3rd. The Rangers do come back. They get 3 in the bottom of the 6th. And still a third of this ball game to go. 10-7 Baltimore.
to start it, you had to try it a few times, especially on a cold morning, give it some gas, and then go from there. And it used to if you had an idle or foot off the gas, it used to just kind of have a mind of its own and just start driving.
Scott Feldman grabbing life by the horns, and he's done for the evening. 2 2/3 innings, and he allowed 3 runs in relief of Vicente Padilla. Now Jason Jennings out of Mesquite Poteet High School, local product, and it's taken him kind of a curious path to become a Ranger for a second time, no less. Last year was in the Rangers starting rotation to begin the year. He re-injured that flexor tendon that had pretty much spelled the end of his Houston Astros career. Now the Rangers have thrown him a life preserver, said we're going to try you out again now that you're healthy again, and so far good returns.
Jason last year just hadn't built up the arm strength to throw his normal pitches in the 4 or 5 starts that he had. But this year he came to spring training and really did that. His arm strength came back, and the times he's pitched for the Rangers, that's been a great pitch for him, that hard breaking ball. Very tough pitch for a right-hand hitter to hit. We've seen that so far this year. Good sharp pitch. Nice location pitch.
Yes, sir. Adam Jones not close.
That's the kind of pitch, if you can start it out for a strike, fool the hitter, and then just keep moving a little bit farther outside, hope he swings at it, and that's what Jones did. Last year, Jones only walked 23 times all year. A little bit of a free swinger as a young player. And so he will tend to chase that pitch from time to time.
Breaking ball, strike 1 to Markakis. On the scoreboard, Tampa Bay's home opener going really well. The Rays beating the Yankees now 15-3 in the 7th.
I'm sure over the years the Yankees have won a lot of games in Tampa, taken advantage of some last place Tampa teams, but they're not a last place team anymore.
Nope.
Tampa Bay fans are getting their licks in tonight.
That had to be a tough ticket. The home opener against the Yankees, and you're celebrating having won the AL pennant.
Yeah. Got your ace on the mound.
Tough ticket in Tampa Bay Rays. We didn't used to say those things all in one sentence,
Nope.
but now we do.
Heck, Dick Vitale was probably there tonight.
Ground ball, second base. I'm sure Dickie V got in. He knows people. It's not
He's
like
got those season tickets right near the visiting dugout.
It's not like you and I trying to get into the roller derby in Detroit. We had no connections.
Little did we know you needed a connection to get into roller derby.
Can't believe we got shut out on roller derby. Royals still leading the Indians 4-0. That's in the 6th. Mike Jacobs has his first home run as a KC Royal.
Well, Jason pumping that breaking ball in one right after the other. It's a good one, too. It breaks sharp, it goes down, and he throws it for strikes.
And point of order, by the way, it's not like roller derby was on either of our bucket lists. It's not like something we needed to do before we died, but
I've actually been there before, way back in the 70s.
When roller derby was really roller derby?
Yeah, when it was real.
Huff is out in front. Boy, the changeups and the curveballs. And these Orioles are just kind of flailing away helplessly.
Well, Jason's a veteran. He's been successful. He really knows how to pitch. And finally this year he's got some weapons. He's got his arm strength back, and you're seeing what he's capable of doing when he's healthy. Last year never had a chance to do that. He was never healthy.
Did he go? Nope. Couple other scores real quick. Minnesota leading Toronto 6-5. That game's in the 7th, and the Red Sox have a quick lead on the A's 1-0 in the 2nd inning on a Kevin Youkilis home run. Right now, the game here in Arlington in the hands of a couple of relievers who wear the uniform number 28. Baez for Baltimore, Jennings for the Rangers. Both guys have come out of the bullpen with good stuff.
That was another good changeup. Aubrey ticked right off the end of the bat.
Getting away from Teagarden. Nobody knows where the ball is. And Huff is going to end up at first base.
It's such a deceptive pitch, and it breaks so sharply that you can see how it fools the hitters. We saw Adam Jones swing at almost the same pitch way out of the strike zone, and that was actually a wild pitch that Huff swung at. He's a good hitter. He was just obviously really fooled by that pitch, but it was such a wild pitch, Taylor couldn't block it. You won't see Aubrey Huff take that swing very often.
So, I mean, here's how good a night it is for Huff. He reaches base for a 5th time by striking out. Wigginton lays off that pitch, takes it down low. That one caught the corner. White Sox beat the Tigers today 10-6. Pair of home runs for Carlos Quentin. Jermaine Dye and Paul Konerko homered, each man getting his 300th career home run. And that was back-to-back. Gavin Floyd, the winner in that game. Well, not much you can do with that pitch. Just kind of beat it into the ground. 2-2.
Nasty breaking balls, boy.
Ty Wigginton says no, and some other things. But that is strike 3. 3 strikeouts in the inning. He had to face 4 guys. They were all out. But that strikeout wild pitch kept the inning going. 10-7 at the stretch. sonic drive-in, which is not just good, but sonic good. Rangers try to keep on rallying here. Bottom of the 7th inning. Michael Young, who has never had success against Danny Baez. 1 out of 15 lifetime, but he's had a good night tonight. 2 for 3 against other Baltimore pitchers. Actually, pitcher Koji Uehara, the starter. Rangers with a 3-run bottom of the 6th. They still trail by 3 here in the 7th. A guy like Michael Young is so good at making adjustments. There's a stat that I'd like to run out here for you, Tom. I think has some merit to it. I looked this up. There are 144 Major League pitchers who have faced Michael Young at least 10 times. Of those 144, only 1 has held Michael Young hitless. That is Esteban Yan. But against everybody else, I mean, and there's some real tough pitchers in there. He's found a way to solve them at least once. One guy has figured out how to make Michael run out something like 0 for 10.
Well, it's not surprising that Michael would do that, I guess, because he gets so many hits, but it's unusual that you would face that many pitchers, and even if it was just total coincidence, not have somebody that did it to you.
It's a rare first ball fastball to Josh Hamilton. He seemed eager to see that. And you hear managers and hitting coaches talk about it all the time, pitching coaches too. It's a game of adjustments. I think Michael Young enjoys that aspect of this game. There's a base hit to right. If somebody gets you out 5, 6, 7 times in a row, for Michael Young, that becomes a personal challenge. How am I going to get this guy? I got to get this guy. Hamilton's first hit of the night. He's now been on base in every Ranger game this year.
That's right in Josh's wheelhouse right there. Just didn't get it up in the air. Hard hit, though.
Now the former Atlanta Braves great, Andrew Jones. Did not do his finest work as a Dodger. There is no doubt about that. He left L.A. humbled and embarrassed. It's a guy that was in the running a couple of years ago for MVP in the National League, and it just was not happening as a Dodger.
He came to spring training in a great frame of mind with a great attitude, in the best shape he's been in the last couple of years, willing to work hard, looking forward to working with Rudy Jaramillo, and he has really improved, getting back to the old Andrew Jones. If that happens, you've got a great player.
Runner goes. Zahn throws, and Hamilton steals the base. Josh vowed to run more in 2009, all during spring training, and he wheeled on into second base on that one.
A veteran hitter at the plate who saw the jump that Josh got, didn't even attempt to swing at the pitch. He was taking all the way because he knew he was going to steal second base. Tried to distract the catcher a little bit.
Ooh, man, it's a good cut. And yeah, Josh Hamilton was 9 for 10 stealing bases a year ago. Look at this swing here from Andrew. A lot of stuff up here from Baez in this inning. That's down and away, backhanded by Zahn. Jones has steered it to a hitter's count, 3-1. Jones will smack it to center field. That ball takes off at the track, at the wall, gone!
is coming back. He just missed it before that. The high fastball up and in, had a great swing at it, and he didn't miss that one. And the Rangers had a nice comeback from Sammy Sosa a few years ago. The difference was Sammy was at the end of his career. You might be watching a comeback for Andrew Jones. He's still in his early 30s and has a lot of years left to play. He put a charge in that one.
Well, he put on a show during batting practice today. That is now spilled out onto the field, and the Rangers are back to within 10-9. They got a lot of the rectangle right there. There is supposedly a clause in the contract of Andrew Jones. He gets $200,000 if he's comeback player of the year this year. That's a check the Rangers would very gladly write, I'm sure. That means that was a great roll of the dice to bring him in. Last year as a Dodger, Andrew Jones tag had only one home run in 140 trips to the plate against a right-hander. He just took that right-hander up on the hill.
Yeah, the thing that you really can't do now is you can't compare this version of Andrew Jones to last year's version of Andrew Jones. He doesn't look the same, number one. He's lost weight. And his swing doesn't look the same because he's fine-tuned it over the last 2 months. And it's getting back to where it used to be right now.
Bird on appeal did not swing. Yeah, Andrew played at as heavy as 240 pounds a year ago with the Dodgers. He's down to about 212 as a Ranger. Bird down on strikes here. Now the Orioles have a lefty getting ready in the bullpen, Jamie Walker. I guess that would be for Chris Davis, who's on deck. Right now it's Nelly Cruz to the plate. Nelly, of course, has the capability of tying this game up very quickly. Game in the 7th inning. Nelson Cruz with 3 home runs already this year. Remember, he had 7 with the Rangers just over the last few weeks of last season when he came up from AAA. On the ground to short. And it's Torres on to first to end the inning. However, the Rangers draw closer. It's Andrew Jones's first home run as a Texas Ranger. And it's 10-9. 9 as we go to the 8th inning. Kansas City's coming in over the weekend, and on Friday all fans will be enjoying those Big Bang fireworks presented by the Star Telegram. Plus there are $10 tickets available, $5 parking is available. Enter fireworks as the coupon code at texasrangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS to get your tickets too. Rangers PR maven John Blake.
John Blake is being shown because he is back in the employ of the Texas Rangers, and we can now use the John Blake peck-away theory. Mark Holtz named it after John. That's where you get behind by a lot of runs and you peck away with runs here and there, which I guess the Rangers have done. Pretty close to being the Big Bang theory, the Judy Johns Big Bang theory too, with a 3-run and a 2-run inning. But we'll call it the peck-away theory for John in honor of Mark Holtz.
Eddie Guardado's got to keep it at 10-9, give the Rangers a fighting chance to keep on pecking. Baltimore with that 5-run 4th and the 3-run 5th, threatened to run away and hide in this game. Luke Scott takes it to left field here on Guardado. That lefty-lefty matchup was appetizing for Ron Washington, but Luke Scott kind of foils that strategy by taking it to left field. That's his first hit of the game. Only his 4th hit of the year. Both sides tonight, just seems like we're seeing a lot of pitches get a lot of the plate. Baltimore has already stranded 10 runners in this game. And that has helped keep the Rangers in it. The Rangers have stranded only 3. And the former Ranger Greg Zaun, one of the more personable players the Rangers have had over the last 10-15 years, you got to figure. The man who took to calling his shot Babe Ruth style at that Hall of Fame game in Cooperstown, and then made good on his call. Takes that one to right field, and it hangs there for Nelly Cruz, who's got it.
Zaun was trying to move the runner over by hitting the ball to the right side. Did a nice job of it, but unfortunately for him and the Orioles, he lined it right straight at Nelly Cruz.
Looks like Felix Pie will be called back. They've got a couple of right-hand pinch hitting possibilities, and they'll go with Ryan Friel, former Cincinnati Red.
Batting for Felix Pie. Ryan Friel, number 2. Batting for PA.
Ryan Friel's one of those cool stories. He had about 2,800 minor league at-bats before he made the big leagues. He became a fan favorite in Cincinnati. One of those all-out guys. Signed as a minor league free agent by Cincinnati after being released by Toronto and Tampa Bay. The Jays and the Rays. And Guardado ahead of him, 2 strikes. That one fades away. Guardado following Jennings, who followed Feldman, who had to come on for Vicente Padilla. Padilla just didn't have the good stuff tonight. Gave up 7 runs on 11 hits in 3 1/3 innings pitched. Outside again. to Guardado, who tackles it and throws out Ryan Friel.
He definitely smothered that ball. He wasn't going to let that get by him. Yeah, nice pitching by Eddie. After the leadoff double, he gets Zahn to line to right. Friel tap back to the mound. And one out away from pitching himself out of a nobody out, man on second jam.
That will endear himself to this crowd.
You just love watching Eddie compete out there.
The number 9 hitter in the order. This is Torres, who drives it to right field. Nelly Cruz drifting back. Eddie Guardado is out of the inning. What
Not
you
bad,
missed,
huh?
besides Jim
Ranger
Knox,
blue right here.
really enjoying somebody's blue mohawk right there. Chris Davis, not in the starting lineup originally, gets in there in kind of an emergency situation. Home run, part of a 3-for-3 night. Michael Young's first home run of the year, put it up there on the hill. Andrew Jones, can you go hill? Well, you can go corner, I know that. But what about hill? Thank you. Double and a home run for Andrew Jones. The Rangers have clawed back to within 10-9, and now a pitching change. The Orioles go get the lefty Jamie Walker to face the lefty Chris Davis. Davis was very good against lefties a year ago. This is a percentage move, but here's the thing, Tag. On average, Davis had a home run every 14 at-bats against lefties last year, as opposed to a homer every 20 at-bats against righties. He had 280 against lefties last year. Out in front of that one, though. And Jamie Walker is the lefty specialist for the Orioles. They gave him a huge contract to be that guy. Dials it down again. Davis out in front. They gave Jamie Walker $12 million to spend 3 years getting lefties out. Trying to check his swing. He did. Walker emerged as a lefty specialist while in Detroit. 2004, he only gave up 1 home run to a lefty that entire year. And that kind of put the word on the street. He could be that guy. And he strikes out Davis. They've got a righty ready in the bullpen. But the lefty came on and did his thing. Davis is out. And now the Orioles manager Dave Tremblay will head on out and make that change. Jim Johnson ready to go, and here he comes. Rangers still trailing 10-9. And we are back to Arlington in just a moment here on My 27. To 9, and if you're trying to change things with one swing, not likely to do it against Jim Johnson. He has allowed more home runs this year, Tag, than he did all of last year. Last year's number was 0 in 69 innings pitched. This year he has allowed 1. That's still pretty good. 1 home run allowed in 2 years.
That's pretty good. It leads you to believe he throws a pretty hard sinker.
He allowed a slugging percentage last year, a slugging percentage of .235. Only other pitchers who were any stingier in baseball last year were Grant Balfour of Tampa Bay and the great Mariano Rivera. And Johnson did all that very, very much under the radar. And what was a tough year for that Orioles bullpen. And really their pitching staff in general. Their starting pitchers actually had a slightly worse ERA than the Rangers starters last year. 5.509 to 5.508. They went through so many pitchers last year and the year before. It's been written that trying to fashion an actual 5-man rotation for Dave Tremblay has been an exercise in herding cats, trying to round them up. That ball's fouled by Teagarden into the crowd. The Orioles got 5 innings tonight from their Japanese import, the starting pitcher Koji Uehara, and a couple innings from Baez, and now it's been Walker and Johnson. Teagarden steps out on Johnson. Line to foul. A one-hand catch on a ricochet over there.
The guy in the front row took the brunt of that line shot, popped it up in the air, and the lady with the orange shirt made the catch. I give him a pretty good assist on that line shot.
Those guys right in front are all lunging for it. I think the guy in the blue shirt.
Now the lady's taunting him.
That doesn't seem right.
That was nice.
Here's the 3-2 coming. Teagarden sends it to right center field, but there is Adam Jones.
That's too bad because he had it right on the good part of the bat. Shaved him over that way, though. He hadn't played well.
Dave Tremblay, it's a rarity in baseball. He never played professionally. Not only didn't he play in the majors, but he never got a chance to play professionally. He played for a little bit at the State University of New York at Brockport. A little state school in between Rochester and Buffalo. He's done a nice job, though, with this Orioles team. And boy, he paid his dues. You look at how long he managed in the minors from 1986 all the way through 06. Line shot. Wow, what a play by Roberts from one knee. He got him.
That's a second hard hit ball Elvis has had to second base today. That's just highway robbery right there.
Well, we've been marveling at the defensive abilities of Elvis Andrus. Now Andrus gets to marvel at Brian Roberts. Check this out to end the inning. (10-9) ball game as we go to the ninth. And folks, you can create your own Rangers collectible using your favorite photos at the photo store on TexasRangers.com. 3 easy steps. You can make your very own Rangers memory out of that. Go to TexasRangers.com to get it done. Brian Roberts just robbed Elvis Andrus, and he will lead things off in the ninth against Frankie Francisco, the Rangers closer, but needing to get some work. Here's Frankie in a non-closing situation, just trying to keep the game close at 10-9. He's got to go right through the top third of this Baltimore order. That was a dazzling play that Roberts just made on Andrus. As you look at the line on Frankie Francisco for the year.
Earlier in the game, Elvis had a one-hop shot to second on a hit-and-run play that he hit equally as well. So 2 very well-hit balls to the right side by Elvis tonight. Nothing to show for it, but nice swings. Hit the ball well.
The Rangers will have a couple of very talented right-handers leading off against the left-handed closer of the Orioles, George Sherrill. When we get to the bottom of the ninth, Sherrill's starting to get loose right now. The Rangers will have Kinsler and Young setting up Hamilton and Jones. Roberts, not only the great defense tonight, but he's got 3 hits and a walk and a stolen base. That's outside from Frankie. It's gone final in Tampa Bay. The Rays power past the Yankees 15-5. If we show you that play that Roberts made on Andrus. he strikes him out. That is closer's stuff that Frankie Francisco features.
High heat.
Royals still leading the Indians 4-0 in the 8th inning. Cleveland could be 1-6. Blue Jays now leading the Twins 8-6. Toronto trying to get to 6-2 to start the year. Quick strike to Adam Jones. And another quick strike to Adam Jones.
One on the outside, one on the inside.
Blew him away. 2 down.
You get the 2 strikes, and then he gets Jones to chase that high fastball up and out of the strike zone.
All right, one last man to go get. Nick Markakis. Guy with a real discerning eye up there at the plate. The Rangers trailed 10-4, and the fans were grumbling. Now they're back to within 10-9 and getting ready to put the rally caps on. There's contact. There's Kinsler. And here come the Rangers. With the top of the order coming, it'll be Kinsler and Young. And then Josh Hamilton. 10-9 Baltimore. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. All right, if you're a Ranger fan and you have a hat, turn it inside out. Make sure the brim is pointing up. The Rangers coming up with the top third of the order, trailing 10-9 in the bottom of inning 9. That's the fashion statement we're talking about right there, the rally hat. Kinsler against George Sherrill, an all-star closer a year ago. And a revelation for these Orioles last year. Saved 31 games just a few years after being in the independent leagues. Getting dealt over from Seattle. 5 summers in the independent leagues. 14-hour bus rides for George Sherrill, all the time holding out hope. And he became an all-star a year ago. Deals it into Kinsler.
Pretty good location there. He's keeping the ball away from you.
Ian's going to send it towards the crowd and stays alive. The Rangers a 4-2 leader after 3 innings tonight, then let it get away in the middle part of the ball game. 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th to creep back to it in 10-9, and here we are. Already 9 hits for Ian this year in 7 games, 8 of those 9 right here at home. Takes it to right field, heading into the corner, and this ball is fair! Kinsler storms to second base for the leadoff double.
That was a battle because Sherrill made a lot of good pitches on Ian. He was able to lay off the 1 and 2 breaking ball that came down and out of the strike zone. And then a tough pitch down and away where he tried to keep most of the pitches. And Ian goes the other way with it. Keeps it fair. And a good start for the Rangers. Man on second, nobody out. And the big guys in the order are coming up.
Kinsler called out on strikes, and he hated that in the 5th inning. And he was real loud, too, in arguing. Did not get thrown out of the game. Great to have him still in this game. 10-9, and here's Michael Young. Sends it to right field. That ball jumps to the track at the wall. Caught by Markakis. What a play he makes as Michael Young is robbed.
Well, and then the worst part of it is Ian didn't get to tag up and go to third base. Ian took off because he thought that ball was over Markakis' head. Markakis closed on it, made a spectacular play up against the fence. And Ian had to go back to second base and didn't get to tag up. And so Michael went the other way. Looked like he might have a home run to win the game. But Markakis makes a beautiful play. And now the bad part is Ian is still on second base.
Markakis goes a long way. And now Josh Hamilton, who's been swinging first pitch every time up tonight.
And Michael hit that ball well. I thought he hit it well enough to get it out of that part of the ballpark.
And I'll see if Josh Hamilton can get the distance now. That ball knocked down by Zahn. But Kinsler just threaded one fair, and then Michael Young just missed, taking one out.
Well, that is basically a game-saving play by Markakis right there. That ball comes off the wall. Michael's got at least a double.
Do they really think Ian's stealing third here, or they're trying to keep him close?
Well, I just want him. I think he wants to make sure that he doesn't steal third. That's a huge base, so he's just being careful.
Hamilton swings, and it's an arc out there to left center. Kinsler unable to tag, and it's left to Andrew Jones. Now Andrew Jones endearing himself to this crowd already tonight. He has doubled into the left field corner, and he has homered up on the hill. Marlon Byrd is on deck, and Byrd, last time he faced Sherrill, homered off Sherrill. We'll see if it gets that far. Breaking ball, a strike. Seems to have already proven that last year in LA, that 1 year with the LA Dodgers, was an aberration. A memory that he just refuses to be haunted by. He's got a new lease here with the Rangers. Winning a job in spring training. Basically taking a job away from Frank Catalanato, who at last check still had not found any place to hook on. I'm very surprised by that.
I forgot about that.
Byrd on deck. And right now 2-1 to Andrew Jones. Too low.
That's some respect right there. He doesn't want to throw him a fastball to hit. Andrews laid off the breaking ball. Tempting. He laid off him. They're definitely not strikes.
Memorable walk-off that Marlin had last year against the Yankees. That was a grand slam. David Murphy's going to pinch run at first base, by the way, for Andrew Jones, and he now is the winning run. That is Murphy at first base. Even though there was a right-handed starter tonight, Ron Washington wanted to play Marlon Byrd in left field this evening. And now it comes to this potential finale. It's a right-handed Byrd against the lefty Sherrill. Runner's going. Strike called, and Murphy is safe! He is safe, and the game continues.
I haven't seen that play since Billy Martin managed the Rangers.
A double steal with 2 out and Marlon Byrd at the plate.
You're down by 1 run. You've got a man at second in scoring position. But now you've got the winning run at second base. You can score on a base hit. I saw Billy Martin do that with Cesar Tovar. And I can't remember the other base runner. You don't see it very often. A double steal down by a run.
That'll rattle your cage if you're George Sherrill, too.
And now all it takes is a single to win the ball game.
And a wild pitch to tie the ball game. However, it is 2 strikes to Marlon Byrd. Murphy barely in there. Got him. And the Baltimore Orioles survive. 10-9 the final. The Rangers leave the tying man at third and the winning man at second. Nick Markakis saved the game. That running catch he made to rob Michael Young. And though the Rangers had a lot of fight in them tonight, they fall 1 run short.
Well, they were down 10-4. You're right. They got 3 in the